5 minutes. I spent 5 minutes yesterday talking to the man to my left. I spent 5 minutes yesterday talking to the man to my right, trying to convince them that there was a chance. Obviously, I did not know, nobody did, unless you're Miss Cleo, call me now, that they were going to win that game. But I can't say that I'm shocked. And the reason I can't say I'm shocked is because we have seen the Pacers do this all playoffs long. We have seen Tyrese Haliburton do this all playoffs, y'all. I mean, you do remember round one against the Bucks. Haliburton takes Giannis Antetokounmpo to the cup, game winner, gets that one done. Yeah. Round two against the Cavs, Haliburton makes his first free throw. He misses his second free throw, step back, gets the bucket. That's the game one bucket. You're about to see the game two bucket. I'm gonna tell you through all the storylines. Step back, bucket. Round three against the Knicks, Haliburton, step back, bucket, choke signal. That ended up being a game winner because they ultimately won that game. This is game three. How then can you be surprised when he does it in round four? People, how? I can't be shocked. I can't be surprised. This is what the Pacers do. Cardiac kids are literally never out of it. I'm also reminded of against the Cavs, they were heavy underdogs, -8.5 points. Against the Thunder, it's -9.5 points. But this is what the Pacers do. Simply put, sometimes destiny beats talent. And I believe that this Pacers team is a team of destiny. I've seen it before with NFL teams. I've seen it before with NBA teams where less talented on-paper teams win. Sometimes teams of destiny beat teams of great talent. I believe this team, Pacers, is a team of great destiny. Not confirming that they are going to win the series, but what I can say is I'm not shocked that they did in game one what they did every game during the course of a series this season. Can't be shocked. But 2-5 were you, sir?
Yeah, I'm real shocked. Like, real shocked. I can't believe it. Like, this really happened. But then I thought about it. Shouldn't be that shocked. You know why? Because it happens sometimes. When a dominant team loses to a not dominant team. We talk about the Lakers in 2001 against the Sixers.
Yep.
Allen Iverson, now, he had 48 points. He was on his thing. But they still lost. I mean, that won that game, the Lakers lost. And then you know what happened, James Jones? Because you know that's around my area. You know that's back home.
1, 2, 3, 4 in a row.
They lost 4 in a row. So I'm okay with that, Acho. I'm okay with that.
Now,
but if you know, it feels like March Madness. Like if you just watch the way that the Pacers play, like you would think that Haliburton, if he didn't watch the game, oh, he must have killed, hit the game winner. No, he only had like 14 points, and he was really in the back the whole game. And if you really watch it, they had to lead the whole game by like double digits. But if you keep the Pacers around, they'll find a way to make plays. I just don't think that they can keep this up. 14 points, 15 points, 17, 18, like. Eventually, though, that's going to crack. And when it crack, I got my money outside to make some more money on the OKC Thunder.
It's very, very, very shocking. Number one, they put up the stat, and they said Tyrese Haliburton got 4 buzzer beaters.
Yeah, and this playoffs.
Reggie Miller got 5 in his whole career in the playoffs, and Brian got like 8. Like, this stuff don't happen. What we are witnessing right now with the Indiana Pacers and Tyrese Haliburton, like, this is crazy, man. Like, I don't know who's with him. Jim Irsay, the angel flying, rest in peace. But somebody is helping him because it doesn't work out like this all the time. You done got 4 buzzer beaters in really 4 different series, and you took the lead on the road in 4 different series. Like, this is very shocking, and especially the way it happened. Like, if you look at that game, they had 24 turnovers in that game. Your best player, your all-star player, had 14 points and 6 assists. He didn't really play a dominant game. Yes, he hit, the game winner buzzer beater, but they were really getting dominated that whole basketball game. They led with 0.3 seconds left. That's the only time they led in the whole game. Like, when you watch that game, it really wasn't a game. Now, kudos to them for sticking around and keeping it close and having an opportunity at the end, but it was very shocking for them to go in there in game one in OKC and win that game, especially the way it happened.
Hey, well, we are most privileged to be joined by somebody who was actually at the game. I would suggest has been to every NBA Finals, if I'm not mistaken, an NBA analyst, Rachel Nichols. Rachel, we were talking off camera before the show started, and you suggested this was one of the wildest moments and wildest atmospheres you have been a part of in Finals history. Obviously, you were there for the Kyrie shot, the Ray Allen step back. But before I ask you any question, please paint the picture of the scene last night in the arena.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Oklahoma City, guys, is one of the craziest places to play in the NBA. The crowd, they stand until the first bucket. It is that college environment. You see everybody wearing the T-shirts. And Rick Carlisle even said that in the timeouts, he couldn't even hear his team half the time. He said the decibels are so high. So you have all of that energy. But man, you can feel that crowd getting nervous as the Pacers get it closer and closer and closer and closer in the fourth quarter. And it was so quiet at the end of that game after he hit that shot. I mean, you could hear 18,000 people leaving the building individually. It was an absolute shocker. And what James said, I want you guys to think about that a little bit more. The Pacers led this game, this 48-minute basketball game, for 0.3 seconds. That's the entire lead they had. It was just the correct 0.3 seconds, the last 0.3 seconds.
That's wild. Rachel, what was the moment, would you suggest, that the crowd knew they were in trouble, right? Up by 15 with 9 minutes left. I'm sure they're like, oh, this is blouses. I remember Caruso got an and one going to the cup. J-Dub looked at him, and I think in their minds they were like, oh, that was the bucket that solidifies this game. What was the moment that the crowd, the coaches, maybe the bench of the Thunder knew, uh-oh, we got a problem?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that the people on the Thunder side, I think the players and the coaches, they knew that they were having a problem because they have seen and studied what this Pacer team can do. I think the crowd sort of started to realize a couple minutes toward the end of the game. But one of the things you want to look at is you mentioned all the turnovers that the Pacers had. First of all, they're going into game two thinking, we're not going to do that again. So we'll get into it later, guys, on who's winning the rest of this series. But I think that both teams have a lot to clean up. I will say, though, that if you do cough up 25 turnovers, what you have to do is go back and defend. And that's what Indiana did. And that's what gave us a little hint earlier in the game that maybe this was going to turn out the way it did, because they only got, the Thunder only got 11 points off of Indiana's 25 turnovers. And that tells you right there that they are not taking advantage of what they are being literally given. And that was maybe a little bit of a sign that the Thunder were in more trouble during this game than it might have initially looked.
Rachel, hang with us. I got a question for the crew at the desk, but I want you to chime in after I ask it to them. Shady, you said something that I draw issue with to a degree. You said that the Thunder are just a better team playing against the worst team, all of these things. On paper, you might suggest that's facts. Yeah. But at this point in time, and through 17 games of the playoffs that both teams, coincidentally enough, have played, the Thunder are 12-5 with the loss to the Pacers. The Pacers are 13-4 with the win over the Thunder. At what point in time do we just need to, like we've always said, update our information? At the end of the day, we all want to believe, and the regular season 82 games would suggest that the Thunder are a better basketball team. All NBA teams might suggest that the Thunder are a better basketball team. Shai Gilgeous' MVP might suggest that the Thunder are a better basketball team. But since March 10th, Pacers haven't lost back-to-back games. One of the best records in basketball, if not the best record in basketball. They have a better playoff record than the Thunder, and they beat the Thunder in the playoffs through one game. At what point in time, Shady, do we need to update our information and say, you know what? The Pacers might just be better than we think. And crazy enough, the Pacers might. Operative word here is might. The Pacers might just be better than the Thunder.
Good point. Good point. I like how you put that. You think the Pacers are going to win this series?
I can't believe it yet.
But what do you think?
No, I don't. If I was putting money on it, I'm still betting Thunder.
I'm James the same way. Me too. This loss doesn't show me anything, right? I'm happy that they're fighting. I didn't think it would just be a sweep. But I just think about this a couple of different things. One is, Rachel just told you that, 0.3 seconds they led. So my thing is, okay, we're going to go to this next game. Now, the Pacers, if I know them, they don't turn the ball over. They don't do that. Why you turn the ball over this time? What's the difference? That defense. That defense is the difference. I think when you go back and you go another game two, I think we'll see a different Thunder's team. I need guys to contribute. Jay Will, I need him to contribute like he's been doing. And I look at also, if we look at the Pacers, you telling me they're going to beat this team 3 more times, nobody having over 20 points? I just can't see that, right? And then when people be having leads late in the game, things have to go wrong. You know what I mean? You have to defensive assignments, giving up open threes. At one point, it was like 2 minutes left. They were up like 6 or 9 points, and they found a way to cut that down. Now, the Pacers, they have been doing it. It's just hard for me to say this team's going to beat them 3 more times.
Shady, you be in that book.
No, real quick, because sometimes you need a wake-up call. Yeah. Everybody's patting you on the back, how great you are. Man, you so good, MVP, this. And you feel yourself. We all, Rachel, we all been there. We just so good, right? And then somebody wakes you up. Oh, wow. Oh, okay, let me wake up. Let me really...
Here's my thing, Rachel, with Shady right now, because Shady be in that book. He be in that good book. I
be praying. He be praying a lot.
I don't know if I need to call him Shady or Thomas, because he be doubting right now. Like, do you need to see the holes in the hands, 2-5? Do you need to see the holes? We keep saying, like, how many times it's going to happen? It keeps happening. Like, at the point in time, how many times is it going to happen? Well, it did to Giannis. How many times is it going to happen? Well, it did to Spidey. How many times is it going to happen? Well, it did it to Brunson. How many times is it going to happen? He did it game one. How many times do you need to see it to believe? How you not a believer yet?
I never was into like the Cinderella movies and Cinderella endings in NCAA basketball. And when I watched the Pacers, they remind me of a really good college program.
Yeah.
I'm all about the pros, dog.
They're in the NBA Finals.
And I love
with a lead.
Listen, I heard what you're saying. And if I had to bet any money, right, if anybody wants to take this bet, holler at me. You guys are up 1-0. I'm going to take the SGA and the Thunder team to win the series.
Yeah. It's tough
guys,
because of...
Go ahead, Rachel. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to remind you guys that the Thunder had a loss, a very similar heartbreaking loss to the Nuggets in that round of the playoffs, and they came back and won the next game by 43 points.
Tell him, Rachel. He didn't hear you. Tell him again.
just to Shady's point, that they do know how to bounce back from something like this. I don't expect them to lose the rebounding battle that they did the way, we saw last night. I don't expect them to maybe go as small to start the game. I think we'll see a little bit more height added back into the lineup. So, Shady, you got some points. There's no doubt. But I also think that what Acho is saying is true. We have to understand this is who the Pacers are. They are going to fight you for 48 minutes, not 47 minutes and 35 seconds. They are going to fight you for every single second, quarter second, 0.03 of a second on the clock. And that if you are playing them, you have to understand if they get it within 5 points in those last 5 minutes, this is absolutely who Tyrese Haliburton is, and he will make you pay.
Yeah, it's just tough to think that it's going to continue. And I understand what you're saying, Thomas holes in the hands and all that, but it's like playing football and you got a team that has won 4 game ones all on Hail Marys. You know what I mean? At one point, they not finna win another game on it. And then how the Pacers did it. So you go to the Cavs and they don't have 2 of their best players on the basketball court. All right? Then you go to the Knicks, kudos. The ball bounces up on the rim and comes down and falls down, and you win that game. And then now you come here and you lead in a game with 0.3 seconds. I think that's why a lot of the doubts still keeps creeping in, is because they ain't really been like dominant in the whole playoffs, and we're still doubting the Indiana Pacers. They have not been dominant. And then even this last game, to be having a lead for 0.3 seconds, they were getting dominated the whole basketball game. So I can't watch the whole basketball game and say, man, hey, it's a heck of a bucket by Tyrese Haliburton, but the OKC Thunder should be scared that they could lose 3 more games to the Indiana Pacers. I can't watch that basketball game and say that, even with the lucky shots that they hit in the other series.
Rachel, I got a question, because is Rachel still here? Make sure Rachel's still with us. Call and tell me. Okay, great. I got a question, because this reminds me of, I think it was 2007, but an elongated version of this. Do you remember that Warriors We Believe team? 8-seeded that dismantled the Mavericks 1 seed. And like the Warriors, they just had belief, they had momentum, they got hot, but they only did that for a series because I believe the next series they went on to lose. Producer, you're a Warriors fan. They go on to lose to the Jazz.
Yes.
So this reminds me almost of an elongated version that's never ending of We Believe. Like the Pacers, a 4 seed, if I'm not mistaken, somehow beat the Bucks, but that's fair. Dame Lillard gets hurt and the Bucks weren't all that good. Then you beat the Cavs, the 1-seeded Cavs, 64-plus win team Cavs, but, Darius Garland was hurt, Evan Mobley kind of hurt, but then you beat the Knicks. You beat the Knicks in 6. This almost reminds me of one of those destiny type of teams. Can you speak to, because you've covered basketball for so long, are we witnessing, experiencing, and living through one of those moments that kind of transcend talent?
I think there's absolutely those kinds of teams, and we see them win the NBA Finals, right? There's some teams that we see win, they're crowned champion, and you're like, yep, we knew it the whole time. And then I always like to say the NBA, every once in a while, throws you a champion that's, it's scotch tape and little, erasers holding things in behind the scenes, but just that little bit of magic, and that is enough to win you an NBA title. So I think the Pacers absolutely are a we believe kind of team, like that Warriors squad. They 100% think in that locker room that they have what it takes to win an NBA Finals. And to me, this game influences what we're going to see for the rest of the series. I'm not changing necessarily to that I think the Thunder are still the favorite here, but I do think that now what they believe in the Pacers locker room is also what OKC believes. And there's now going to be that little bit of doubt in the back of their minds every time they get into a fourth quarter against this Pacers team. And that is going to affect the rest of the series. I think that if the Pacers had stolen, let's say, game 2 of this series, I don't think it would have as much of an influence going forward as it is that they did it in game 1. I think it's just going to set the tone, and we are in for a long one, gentlemen.
Rachel, one quick one, because we have to transition to Aaron Rodgers here momentarily, but one more quick one. I was shocked to see Coach Dagnall make that change to the starting lineup. I almost say advantage Rick Carlisle. If you're 12-4 in the playoffs thus far, you're 3-0 in game 1s, if you're supposed to be the better team, if you're the juggernaut, if you're the big dog, why don't you make them adjust to you? Why do you adjust to them? Why in the world, Hartenstein, Chet, J-Dub, Shea, Dort, it's worked. It's worked to the tune of nearly 70 wins. It's worked. It's worked to the tune of 3-0 game 1s. It's worked. It's worked to the tune of a 12-4 playoff record thus far. It's worked. It's worked to the tune of absolutely dismantling the Minnesota Timberwolves. Why now get to the big stage and you make a change, but Carlisle and the Pacers don't? Are you currently going advantage Rick Carlisle, advantage coaching Pacers?
Well, I mean, it's funny. I asked Mark Dagnall before the game, who's given you advice? Because you've never been on this stage. And he said, well, this is very embarrassing for me, Rachel. Actually, I don't have that many friends in coaching circles who've been here before. Thanks for bringing it up. He said, I don't have Pat Riley's phone number. So now I think we maybe need to get him Pat Riley's phone number after something like this, where Carl has obviously been here before. He doesn't need advice from anyone. I think, look, the Oklahoma City coaching staff, you understood why they made the lineup move. It made sense when you looked at this matchup. But I do agree with you. I think you go in with what's working. You save that adjustment for if and when you need it. And I do think that they're going to adjust back a little bit for game 2.
Hey, Rachel, real quick. The spread from this game is -11 for OKC. I'm gonna take that spread. I'm gonna take that.
43 points. I just want to say it again. The last time they were embarrassed like this, they came back and they won by 43.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.